we're gonna be watching the story of Geometry Dash's most hated level. Okay, let's start.
May 12th, 2016. One of Geometry Dash's most well-known players, Carmel, is about to verify a level that, unbeknownst to everyone, had dethroned arguably the most iconic hardest level, Bloodbath. Thousands of players, including RobTop, cheered him on to take the level down once and for all, and finally, after nearly 30,000 attempts, Carmel did it. This is Phobos, a mega collab level made by 20 other creators that formed all the way back in 2015. It's one of the most recognizable levels in Geometry Dash, and most people at the time were happy to see something compete against the difficulty of Bloodbath. But those who knew about the level's history thought differently. So what? Not liking something about it is just an opinion and nothing more. End of story. Except if that opinion is universally accepted to be that bad.
Oh my god. Ah! I got lined again! This level is crap! This level is absolute crap!
But why? What caused the level to become one of the most controversial and despised levels in the game? Well, in order to understand, we have to go back to its inception, when it was the hardest upcoming top 1 at the time. This is the story of Geometry Dash's most hated level, Phobos. I hope you all enjoy, and thank you to all of my channel members. Anything is appreciated.
Wow. Unnerved Phobos.
The origin of how Phobos was made dates back to April of 2015 on the Geometry Dash Gamers and Likers page on Facebook, where a top leaderboard player named GMT Sean announced that he was making an insanely difficult mega collab and had 20 spots for any skilled player to participate. Though it was meant for skilled creators, it was actually meant for anybody who created well or had a kind of notable presence in the community. Members within the mega collab attempted to get more notable figures to tag along, which they managed to get some players you likely have heard before, such as Skidden, Woogie, and Andromeda. These community figures assisted on building hype for the project, and the collab team contacted Riot to get involved with the project by verifying it. There's a common misconception that Riot straight up declined to verify it, but he in fact originally agreed to tag along, but only left after being handed the verification of Bloodbath, leaving many to question who was even capable of beating it. And in May of 2015, the original and unnerfed version of Phobos was finally complete. Not long after it was finished, Geometry Dash's 2.0 update would be released, and Phobos was given an extension featuring 2.0 triggers and decoration, which is why there's a sudden 2.0 atmospheric change at 75%. After the extension was complete, the team were still left with a problem. The concern was still finding someone to legitimately verify it, which eventually resulted with members in the collab team attempting to beat it for themselves, with the biggest progression coming from Rikarez getting 50% on the unnerfed version of Phobos in approximately 30,000 attempts. Now 50% in itself sounds very impressive on its own, but the first half of Phobos is much easier than the second half. This is because the main choke point in the first half is GMT Sean's 14% UFO part that makes most people just quit the level, even in practice mode alone. Other than that, different parts of it were not nearly as bad. But with the second half, you gotta worry about the off-balance 59% dual mini-ship parts made by Tigersec, Cubson's 70% mini-wave part, and most infamously, the asymmetrical mini-dual section at the very end of the level. This combination alone made Phobos stand out as one of the most difficult and awkward levels in the early 2.0 update. But after that 50% record, no more progress was being made, until suddenly on November 25th of 2015, when one of the group members, Tigersec, claimed to have beaten it legitimately, and posted it in the GD servers. It was quickly rated and immediately became number 1 on the demon list, dethroning Bloodbath after nearly 4 months. Nowadays, anybody can spot the many obvious red flags about this verification, but at the time, the legitimacy of it could only be speculated, which ignited a huge controversy amongst the community and best player, Riot.
Feel free to skip the adverts.
PlayStation.
Phobos controversy.
Because of it being placed at the number 1 spot in the demon list, some immediately questioned whether or not TigerSect really did verify Phobos. A creator and player named Lugia would attend a Twitch stream hosted by Zephyr and join along with Riot to start getting Zephyr's chats to chant unrate Phobos for the community to see. In addition to the chanting, Riot, along with his other friends, pressed TigerSect about the hacking allegations, as there was still no evidence that Phobos was verified legitimately. As the drama continued to permeate across the community, everyone began wondering what was really going on, which further added more fuel to the fire on TigerSect's perspective of it all. As a result, TigerSect would update Phobos to a free demon to write a public apology, admitting that he hacked it, was sorry for lying, and said that the team wanted it to be out as fast as possible. He would make a request for it to be removed from the servers, as he felt guilty about it all. Interestingly, TigerSect would change his mind, and uploaded the full level once again, but with a few major nerfs. This is the version of Phobos that we are all familiar with today, and even with these changes, the level remained rated for the time being. But not long after, someone had tipped RobTop off about its history, and as soon as RobTop found out, Phobos would be unrated, and the verification would remain dormant following its demotion.
Wow.
It was adamant that the controversy would result in even more doubt of Phobos getting verified anytime soon, as unbeknownst to the creators, the unnerfed version of Phobos was way ahead of its time in terms of difficulty. But there was one player who 6 months later decided to take on Phobos in its nerfed state, which was still considered to be as hard as Bloodbath at the time. His name was Carmel, a legendary player today, and one of Geometry Dash's best players at the time. Carmel took it upon himself to progress on Phobos after watching Woogie's start position showcase of it, and surprisingly, he made very notable progress within a short span of time, which caught the attention of one of the group members who granted Carmel permission to verify it for himself, which is exactly what he focused on for the time being. And with the supports of the community, and RobTop himself during the journey, Carmel would verify Phobos live on May 12th of 2015 after nearly 30,000 attempts.
Nice.
After it was uploaded, the community wanted to give the level a try, since it was a long-awaited project that was to rival Bloodbath. But what most people didn't expect was just how unbalanced and poor the level's quality was. Many complained about blind hitboxes and inconsistencies with decoration, not to mention that there are a ton of bugs in this level that not only mess with the level's atmosphere, but gameplay as well, mainly due to the poor transitions throughout it, such as the 59% dual miniship parts that is just complete RNG to align properly, or the very awkward entrance towards the 87% robot part, known as the line. There's also some visual bugs such as GMT Sean's UFO part, where the gameplay and decoration shifts one block higher than it's supposed to, and the list of problems goes on and on. Over the years, thousands of players have voiced their opinions about the level's awful everything, with it being so bad that it somehow brewed a meme in the community, that being the Vortrax 92% death curse, as it was amongst the most mentally draining experiences he had at the time. Since then, more well-known figures were interested to experience it for themselves, with most of them agreeing that it is not an enjoyable experience by any means. In comparison, most other hated levels in the game have to do with controversy surrounding it from when it was released at the time, such as Buff This or Avernus, but not many have to do with it being mixed with controversy, and about what the level actually contains like Phobos. It is amongst the most unbalanced, controversial, and universally despised levels of all time, and that viewpoint has remained that way for more than a decade. So to see if it still holds up, I decided to try it out for myself, and I somehow beat it early in the morning after nearly 3,000 attempts. Oh my god. Oh my god, thank you. In terms of experience, here is a list of percentages that many, including myself, have said to be the choke points if for some reason you want to go after it. But yeah, the level is unsurprisingly not good. It's the fact that anybody, including Carmel, could have easily fixed these poor transitions and bugs. But the one thing that I can sort of respect is that Carmel kept it the way it was, minus the asymmetrical duel at the end, mainly due to Carmel not wanting to learn it. And to be fair, I'm sure most of us wouldn't want to either. But unlike Phobos, there are two other levels, both named Deimos, that rather remasters or rekindles Phobos' history, to which I'd like to discuss their differences.
Let me move my...
Apart from being known as continuations of an already infamous level, these two levels are rather somewhat or highly more praised than the original in their own unique ways. So to start this chapter off, let's talk about this version. Deimos by N-Level and More is a remake of Phobos' unnerved layout that isn't as hated as the original, and just so we're clear, it's not a direct copy gameplay-wise. What's interesting about this level is that N-Level hosted a creator contest for anybody to create the best decoration between these percentages, with the creator Failure444 winning the contest in the end. It was originally set to be verified by N-Level himself, but then he took a break and passed it along to Skullo, then to Krazen, then to Dr. Joe, to which he hacked it, then ultimately to Nepesta. It was verified on February 17th of 2019, and took him roughly 75,000 attempts to do so. This version of Deimos is also hated by some, due to its already existing poor transitions and somewhat bland decoration, not to mention its inclusion of the last dual part, but that's pretty much it. Gameplay-wise, it is much harder than Unnerved Phobos, but is a lot more balanced. Basically, you'd be aware of its difficulty no matter where you play from, which is more fitting than having many huge choke points scattered across the level. Now, the difference between this version and the other one is that this one, according to GMT Sean himself, is the official sequel to Phobos. Similar to N-Levels, Deimos by its hybrid and More had undergone several verifiers over the course of a couple years, leading to it eventually being verified by Doggy. It was amongst the hardest levels verified back in 2023, and is generally more respected than the previous two. It has entirely different gameplay, a new song choice, and much more fitting decoration. According to its hybrid, he wanted the level's theme to be, in his own words, 1.9ish mixed with a lot of modern features, to slightly resemble its origins, which the Mega Collab team does execute that beautifully, and while some parts are more unbalanced than others, the pros, for the most part, outweigh the cons. Levels like Phobos by Carmel, Deimos by N-Level, and the other Deimos by its hybrid have all concluded their stories by being uploaded in the servers, but there's still one thing missing about Phobos' history, its unnerved version. For the longest time, nobody outside of a few underrated progressions had wanted to legitimately verify the unaltered version of Phobos, because it just wasn't worth the time and reward for completing it. However, popular YouTuber and player Stormfly decided to take matters into his own hands by investing his own time on the level, and after only a surprising 4,600 attempts, Stormfly closed another chapter of Phobos' story by verifying its unnerved version on April 24th of 2021.
Yes! Oh!
Wow.
Yes!
The end of Phobos.
What most people don't know is that its hybrid is possibly closing Phobos' final chapter by making a sequel to his version of Deimos called Elysium Mons, which is a real volcano located in Mars. Right now, it's a work in progress, and it's said to be verified by SP Crate, so I want to wish the decorators in SP Crate the best of luck on supposedly finishing the trilogy. All in all,
Nice.
the complete story of Phobos impacted the community in ways that are both negative and positive. Projects attempting to restore its legacy had unfortunately come and gone, and it's unlikely that the infamy of it will ever die down anytime soon. But the opinions of players who do find Phobos enjoyable are, as I said in the beginning, just opinions and nothing more. And if you ask me, that's the best way we should keep it. I want to give a huge thanks to Vortrox for suggesting this video idea, as it wouldn't have been possible without him and his trauma. This was the story of Geometry Dash's most hated level. Thank you all for watching, and
Yeah, let's go. Nice.
Dichloryl diphenyl trichloroethane.
What?
Whoa.
What's that?
I just built a budgeting app in Base 44.
Guys.
Thank you for watching,
just built an
guys.
app.
See you in the next
Impossible.
vid.
That can't code. Interesting. Can it
I
generate reports?
meant,
I can now.
oh my god. Bye, guys. See you in the next vid.